Alright guys, welcome back to phase 3 of like 1,000 phases in our Barndo condominium conversion to a camp. As you can see from the video I just showed you, we've got the deck on. Everything's up. I'm missing one board. I was one board short. Doesn't matter. It's perfect because we're going to be able to do some work on the window. We'll be able to work at the door, and we're going to be able to get everything straightened away, get ready for winter and insulation here. Stick around, you'll see how it goes.
Found some pretty flowers. Really pretty. I'm gonna pick them. Yeah. Look at this. She's a beauty.
Just so happens it is Tuesday, and guess what? It's New Tool Tuesday. I got this bad boy because I don't have anything reciprocating other than gas powered and plug-in to help reframe these windows. So here's the story behind the windows. Why would I go to all the effort to reframe instead of buy appropriately sized windows? Cost. It's purely the cost. Off the shelf, the windows that you can get at the store are much cheaper than the custom windows I would need for the cheap boards that were put in here to make them. So we're going to turn around, we're going to make these windows fit the ones that we've got from off the shelf. We're going to put them in and install them. The end walls, they're not structural. The roof is completely supported by the trusses themselves. So we're able to make some modifications without too much issue here. I have already been into this window. This was several years ago. This is an old window that was made into 2 windows by me, and then I framed this out knowing that I was going to put an actual window in here someday. It was caulked. It held up pretty good for something that's been in here for almost 10 years. It doesn't look like it leaked too much. The frame was actually done properly, and you'll see that I wrapped everything over properly, but we're going to have to undo a bunch of that and maybe build it out a little bit to receive the new window, the vinyl window. And then for looks and everything in the end, we can put the boards back on just so that they match. It doesn't really matter to me. If it's ugly from the outside, it's going to be darn pretty from the inside. One thing I always make sure to do is pull the nails out, because you just never know when you're going to step on this board in the future. And I broke this one, so this one's garbage, but the nails need to come out. You can argue with it all you want. That looks like it was freshly cut and installed. Yeah. The outside boards took the most of the trauma, but that looks pretty good. Actually, I'm surprised that survived that much. And it would be because of the drip cap. The drip cap is what saved it. I'm trying to remember how I installed it. I think there's only 4 nails holding it in. God, I think that's what it is. But they're big nails. See, typically you don't need much pressure to hold the window in. The foam will do a good job of it, especially when you're building something like this. But the new window, that's a different story. We're going to do. Oh, man. fit. I just have to
Do you have to what?
clean up some of the edges and stuff. I'm gonna end up, I've got blue tape. I'm gonna end up blue taping it. See how there's a gap here? We're gonna flush this out so that there is no contact issues. And then we'll have a nice tight fit. A little too tight, but it shouldn't be too bad in the end. Because then we'll shim it, square it, tag it, foam it, and it'll have just enough wiggle room that it should be fine. Some pretty good ventilation through the floor. Have to fix that. So now we've got the window frame prepped and we're ready to install. There's no load, so that's one of the big things. There's going to be nothing pressing down on this window. It may shudder shake, but it's not going to move enough in order for us to have any concern about it. We'll still be able to get foam in around it to make it airtight. The important thing is that even though the building itself isn't going to be pretty from the outside, it's going to be beautiful inside, because pretty things on the outside suggest that you have nice things inside. So looks good. Now, something that I see a lot of people do when they install their own windows, they miss this step. Vapor barrier is just as good as vapor barrier tape. And if you don't, now this has a nail strip on the outside. If you have a nail strip, you have hopefully hose wrap on the outside of your building. This entire building is wrapped in hose wrap. So whatever's on the outside, it just doesn't matter. The hose wrap's going to protect it anyway. But the boards that are covering the boards that are actually the structure of the building are wrapped in hose wrap, and that's what's your weather-tight seal from the breeze getting in. Eventually we're going to do foam insulation and spray it in, which is even just going to shore up the building even more and make it completely airtight. But if you don't take this tape and you don't wrap it around the window, whether you have the red tape or the blue tape, the technical tape or the vapor barrier tape, you're doing yourself a disservice. You're allowing for an area for penetration for breezes and drafts, and you do not want that. So make sure you put it on. It's something that you see frequently missed, not by contractors, but by people doing it themselves. So Gavin's home today, and probably for the rest of the week, because he had surgery last week, and they pulled out four of his front teeth. So he's restricted to a soft diet, which is not what is available in school. So we're having raspberries. He's having a bunch of soft food and Jello and raspberries. What? We got peaches, banana, yogurt, and lots of treats there. So we're gonna have some lunch. And that wheelchair frame, I got that from a friend of mine who owns a junkyard, and he had no use for it, so I grabbed it, and somehow it's still here. So that's the clutch there. You gotta use your other foot. Yeah, push the clutch in all the way, and then push it into number one. See, R1, 2, 3. So you go down there. Now slowly let the clutch out. You're good. There you go. Woodpecker's having a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So kid's toy carriage. It's got to be from like 50s or 60s or something. All metal. I mean, there's a whole massive trash pile in here. And it just goes on and on and on. And so it's on the field edge, which is where, even up at our place, we have a trash pile in the woods just off the driveway.
Why would they throw away that?
Because it was no good to them.
You would take that home.
And there was no such thing as a dump back in the day. So this is where they threw everything. Everything from shingles to glass bottles, paint cans. God knows what's in the paint. Just everything. It's juice cans. That's where the juice used to come in. Just, or it could be oil can. It's like the juice, so. Beehive, golden syrup. Again, we're still in the trash pile in here. And there's an old mattress. That looks like an old wringing tub for washing clothes, drying clothes off the edge of a dryer. Push to release. Careful, there's big glass, pieces of glass here, okay? And then we'll come over here. Man, there's a lot of stuff here. Little tricycle frame, big enough for an adult. Looks like a truck wheel. I don't know. Milk jug. Cool.
Dad, you see this? Look at that.
Yeah, that's an engine. Look.
Yeah.
Firestone, right? Old school Firestone.
This is old.
Yeah. And Gavin found. There's a 2-stroke engine off of something. Man, it's cool. It's not cool the junk here. It's cool that you get to see stuff that you just is gone to time. There's just junk everywhere. This whole place is a junk pile. Junk, junk, junk. Our family's been here a long time, but some of this would be very, very, very old.
What we're gonna be doing.
Yeah.
Soon.
You see, my great-grandfather used to be a blacksmith on this property.
Yeah,
And so behind me here in the bushes, this is and I crawled around in here for years. This was growing up. This was a pile of metal from those blacksmithing days. And it just seems like there was a lot going on. Now I just learned that there was an old barn on here, a massive barn on here. And they tore down the old barn to make the new barn on what is now my brother's property, and it's my grandfather's place. But that's why we see all the metal in the woods, because to them, you're talking about my great-grandfather, which is well over 100 years ago, was here working on this property as a blacksmith in his blacksmith shop, building stuff. They don't really see the issue with recommendations like putting gravel in the hole and pouring oil into the ground. That was a recommendation in the 60s on how to dispose of oil. It was to dig a hole, put gravel in the hole, and then pour it into the gravel hole for it to dissipate back to the earth. There was no recycling programs, there was nothing like that. So the fact that we see that they've piled all the garbage in one spot is kind of a nice thing at the same time, because we know where it's all at to go back and deal with it in the future. But it's been there for so many years that it's deteriorated almost to the point where you just can't salvage anything out of it to put into a landfill. So something to work on in days to come. And here there used to be a lot of metal, a lot of incredible things, and I used to spend hours in that junk pile. just looking at the things that they either made, created, cut up, left over, and it was from an era when things were built much different than they're built now. It's kind of a big connection and tie to why my property, which is connected to this one, is so important to me and my family in the future. And that's why I want to have connections to get back here, because I don't have anywhere to stay right now for myself, for my kids, in order to come down and explore, so that they can do the things that you're seeing Gavin do today, going around looking for squirrels with a BB gun. It's awesome. It's awesome. Hello. All right, so we got the first window installed, 2 more to go. Let's go on over here, get you guys set up. So I've got 2 windows put in. As you can see, I've given you guys the HGTV treatment, and I've gone through absolutely no effort to clean anything up. We're just gonna get these in and get it done as fast as we can anyway, and the best we can. Because where am I gonna put everything right now? I have to shuffle it around or put it outside in order to make it look nice for you guys, and I really don't care. So we're gonna measure these windows. I already know that these windows are not going to fit. So I have to take the measurements here. We have your kings, your jacks. I think that we're going to end up cutting a bunch of this out, if not one side completely, and then we'll be good to go, and we may have to elongate it down. We've got 2 rough stud openings that we're going to be shoving windows in probably tomorrow. I'm probably not going to film me shoving these windows in because it's the exact same process as the front. They'll go in just the same. We'll get the buttoned up, we'll put the foam in, and then we'll be waiting for insulation after that. We've got a bunch more to do. We have crack filling, blocking for the ceiling. We've got a lot to do, and we've got a lot of cleanup to do before any insulation goes in this place. So if you've enjoyed the content, please like, subscribe. There's going to be a lot more as things progress. We're going to have the interior work. We're going to have solar. We're going to have propane hookup, flooring, interior walls, place for bathroom, bedroom, and a living, dining, kitchen area. And as usual, guys, if you break it, fix it and build it better. We'll see you in the next one.
So if you're wondering what he's filling in right here, there's 3 little posts, or things that go underneath the post to keep them up. So he's filling the holes in around them, and then so we can put a lean-to in there. If you don't know what a lean-to is, it's like it leans over, so, and like it kind of goes like this and then down. So we can park like cars, 4-wheelers, trucks, motorcycles, dirt bikes, and everything in there, instead of parking it actually downstairs.